all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I am dubbing the Tough Day in the Dish Pit beer review, because it was a tough day in the dish pit, basically washing dishes. Whew, got my ass handed to me and ridden at the same time. Thankfully there's beer to make it better. So what are we reviewing tonight? We are reviewing something from Sierra Nevada that oddly I haven't reviewed yet. And what beer is that? The beer is Ryed IPA. This is a 2017 version, but they put the year on it, but they don't really change the recipe all that much except for the big stuff. This was released in 2015, and for some reason Sierra Nevada alternates in between their two rye IPAs, Ruthless Rye and this one, Ryed. This one is slightly lower ABV at 6.0. Let's read the back, shall we? Feeling adventurous? Explore the wide open of the outdoors with our Ryed IPA. This hop-forward beer features intense citrus and herbal hop flavor balanced by the peppery spice of rye for a dry and delicious end to a day out on the water. This is from their either spring or summer box set. They don't put the season on them anymore, but this was packaged on look here, April 5th. So pretty damn fresh, which is how you want your beer to be. This one has been warming up just a little bit, partially because I wanted it a little bit warmer, partially because my camera was being a butt and constantly crashing the reviewer thing. So let's get to this, shall we? God, I am so looking forward to a beer right now. Don't we all look forward to beer? That's why, okay. Overdid it on the head a little bit, but that's okay. It's a nice, clear, but somewhat dark copper red. Dark copper red, so darker than the Ruthless Rye. Medium carbonated, with a thick off-white head. On the head, you get the hint of New World hops. There's that sort of top note there. Kind of piney and flowery. You get interplay there in between the malts and the hops, where citrus kind of shows up. Then you kind of get that rye smell, and what I mean by rye smell, well, go and get yourself some rye bread and kind of sniff it, and that's the smell of the malts that you'll get there. You can definitely smell the rye malts here. The rye malts are kind of the backbone, you know, of it. When you get down to it, the hop's going to hit you first, but then you realize that the rye is the main thing in that head there. You know, so you can kind of smell that bouquet. Delightful. Well, we've only had one bottle of this before, because obviously I sampled the one in the set before, but I have to say, I really like this beer. Front, combined with the mild bite of carbonation, comes this blast of rye spice, peppery rye spice in the front. You know, you almost think it's like carbonation, but like right now, you know, because I gave it such a good head, there's not much carbonation to bite down there, so it's a pepper blast there. And, you know, that's very characteristic of rye beers. Sweet, just slightly sweet, chewy malts interplaying with hoppy bitterness that comes in from the front towards the mids and into the finish, but it's not an overwhelming one. It's a nice citrus note that explodes on your tongue in the mid. Kind of lingers in the finish too. So as it segues from that sort of pepperiness into nice citrus flavors. And then, you know, hop finish. Bittering hop finish. Slightly resinous. There's some aspects of juiciness there, in the front, in the mids, and even in the finish a little bit. That's kind of that hop malt interplay. But you know, it's kind of secondary to that to the rest of that. Now there isn't a huge amount of complexity here in regards to like I'm tasting this and this and this and this, but it's just so nice how it transitions from an intense peppery blast to kind of sweet maltiness with orange citrus, and then to you know, that hot bitterness in the finish. Now, I actually prefer this one to the Ruthless Rye. Why? Because you could say this is a rye IPA where the rye is the main, you know, the main show there. And the IPA is just the hopping, you know, it's a heavily hopped rye beer. Whereas Ruthless Rye kind of comes across as the opposite there. It comes across as a IPA that has been brewed with rye malts. You know, so most of those tastes there are very redolent of IPA flavors. This, you know, from the get-go is a rye beer. Just a nice blast of spiciness. And that's what I love from rye beers and rye whiskeys, is that pepperiness. And that mintiness, but this one doesn't have too much of that mintiness there. Definitely nice pepper though. Definitely nice citrus orange. All in all, a well-made, truly enjoyable beer. So, River Rye. In the most recent box set, do yourself a favor and get it because it's good. It also has a hoppy lager in there. It also has Otra Vez, which is, you know, pretty much the only Goza that is anywhere near cheap. So, you know, it was definitely something that I was going to go to. I'm not going to go and review the hoppy lager this year, mainly because I didn't think it was all that different from when I had it last. So, no, who knows what I'll review next. River Ryed from Sierra Nevada. Go out and try it. And that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.